to the kingdom of investing in collectibles. The number one thing we talk about is buy well-known collectibles. If you're buying coins that nobody else has any interest in but you, they're never going to have any value to anybody but you. So you want to buy well-known coins, coins that other people are collecting and that the demand is high on. And the example I like to use is movie posters. A lot of people collect vintage movie posters. Okay, so if you're a vintage movie poster collector and you've got a vintage movie poster in mint condition of Gone with the Wind, and you've also got one on how to drive a military tank, which poster is going to have an easier resale for you? Obviously it's the Gone with the Wind poster because it's much more well-known. So you want to buy well-known collectibles, that's number one. And then number two is quality. I always say buy the highest quality that you can afford. Coins are graded on a scale of 1 to 70. 1 is like the penny you put on the railroad tracks and the train runs over. And then 70 is the absolute flawless finest example known. And I kind of liken it to automobiles. If you've got a 57 Chevy that's sitting out in the farmer's field and there's really nothing left but the rust bucket, it's got value. It's a 57 Chevy, right? It can be restored. But if you've also got a 57 Chevy that's still underneath the tarp on the dealer's show floor that's never even been taken for one single ride, doesn't have any miles on it, that's got a lot more value than the one out in the farmer's field. If you look in the coin books, they have a price guide. And in the price guide, they list the various grades of a coin on what the average selling price on that coin would be. And sometimes you can look at a Mint State 65 grade coin, and it can be $10,000. And a Mint State 64 grade, just one grade lower, can be $1,000. There's a huge swing in the difference on just one grade point in many instances. If it's a good coin, it's got the things you're looking for, it's a well-known collectible, a lot of people are interested in that coin. If you can afford to purchase a $50,000 coin, buy it. It's a great piece to add to your portfolio. But if you can't afford the $50,000, buy the lower grade. It's still a great coin to own. So always try to buy the highest quality that you can afford. And then the final thing I've got on the 3 keys is listed as changeovers. Changeovers can be a little tricky. What the heck is a changeover? A changeover is when something changes within a series of coins. For instance, we've got a set of $20 gold coins here. 1907 is the only year that the United States Mint struck 2 different $20 gold coins. 1907 was the last year of the Liberty style. It has a portrait of Lady Liberty on the front and the heraldic eagle with the flag built into his shield on his chest on the reverse side. And then that was the end of an era. From 1849 until 1907, nothing changed on that design except the date on the bottom. But in 1907, Teddy Roosevelt had been the president for a while, and he was sick of those Liberty-style designs. He commissioned a private sculptor by the name of Augustus St. Gaudens, and their goal was to create the most beautiful gold coin in the world, which is the other coin in the set. And it is an absolutely gorgeous coin. It's got Lady Liberty marching down the trail to freedom. She's holding the Liberty branch in one hand. She's got the torch in the other hand. So that's a changeover. You know, collectors love the first of and the last of. That's a very, very popular collection there. Some of you older guys will remember we used to get buffalo nickels in our pocket change, and we'd get the Mercury dimes, and you know, back then, you know, you take those out and you could buy something with a dime or a nickel. But the first Mercury dime came out in 1916. And that was the first year, 100 years ago. Last year...
You were 10, right?
I was about 11. And you'll be lucky to live this long, kid.